the album's out, and it is climbing up the charts, and he's kicking off his new tour here in Central Texas tonight in San Marcos. Shooter Jennings, whose music is in Police State 4, The Rise of FEMA, came out a few years ago, which I've got to say, as I said earlier, I mean, how many stars are in music? 5 stars? 20 stars? I mean, it is as good as it gets. But what do you expect? He's a chip off the old block. Waylon Jennings' son, here in studio with us. First time I've had a chance to actually meet him in person, talk to him on the phone and on the air quite a few times before. He also collaborated with Stephen King, of all people, also on some of the intros on the last album. The new album is out, and it's available on iTunes and everywhere else. It's Great Country, The Other Life, available right now. We're going to be playing some clips of that, and we're going to talk about politics and the world. He's sitting right there. We're going to him here in just a moment. Shooter, man, what a crazy world. 2 years ago, you put out your last hit album, and it just, the whole thing talking about the tyranny in the world and the big changes that were coming, and now it's happened, and now you've got another album out. It's great to have you here with us. Man, it's great to be here. I really appreciate you letting me on the air, you know. I think I've said to myself I'm not going to really be doing many more interviews, but being on this show is really, I've been looking forward to it, so thank you. Well, I was looking forward to you coming to town, and then I get so busy, and then I get to work, they go, you know, this is the day Shooter's coming, and it's like, bam, there you are. Yeah, well, here we are. It was really nice to actually see you in person, man. Why do you say you might not do a lot of interviews anymore? Just sick of them? Yeah, you know, I get asked a lot of the same questions, and it's really been like pretty much anybody can pick up the phone and get a hold of me, and these days, the way that the world is turning and the way things are and the way that I feel about things, I really feel like it's important to say things when people are going to listen. And I think that in a case like this, you know, we can talk about real issues, things that bother us without worrying about what people think, you know, and I don't want to deal with some angled press somewhere that really wants to talk to me, you know, just ask me what it's like being my dad's kid or something like that, and not really care about what I got to say about things, you know what I mean? What is it about the so-called mainstream media? I think it's their training. They almost always twist what was really said. I had Billy Corrigan on about a month ago, and it was in a bunch of newspapers, but one Salon article actually did a decent job on what the interview was about. All the others distorted it, and I said, wow, I can't believe they actually just really covered what we said. They always try to distort on purpose like it's impressive or something. I know, they spin it in a way, and I think this trickles down on a lot of levels. I think you have people at high levels that are strategically changing what they want articles to be angled against, and then I think you have people at low levels that just aren't paying attention and to only pay attention to what these things that strike a chord in their mind, and those are usually people that aren't aware of what's really exactly. No, it's a feedback loop. They've grown up in the propaganda. Yeah. They're not even active agents. They just regurgitate. Exactly, and that's the only thing they know. It's so funny because like people that aren't exposed to, you know, for me doing Black Ribbons, that was an experience of me waking up and being aware. Like I can't even watch my children's. And that was the last album, Black Ribbons. Yeah. And that for me was trying to wake other people up, you know. But I can't watch, you know, Bubble Guppies or these shows that my kids watch on television without seeing something that is gearing them already towards what they're supposed to think the world is like, you know. Well, it's actively trying to take them away from you. I mean, you watch children's programming now. It's programming. I mean, it's. Yeah. Straight up, yeah. With the exception of certain things that are independently done, I feel like exactly, you know, that we're and just like the news, just like sports programming. I mean, all of it. You're constantly being fed this box that they keep you in, and how you're supposed to view the world, and what success is, and what men's relationships are, and things like that. You know, I definitely think that the press and the people who are uneducated about it are the people that perpetuate it, and that's what they've got in their back pocket is they know that 90% of the world are uneducated on what's really going on, and they're going to continue to perpetuate the lie. You know, you're absolutely right about that. Wow. We were talking during the break, and that was some pretty interesting stuff. You want to repeat what you were saying off air? Oh, wait, what was I saying? We were just talking about the whole Second Amendment thing. Oh, yeah. You've got the legendary name Shooter. I mean, what's your take on all this? Well, see, I got real mad because right after, okay, first of all, I have a 5-year-old daughter, so the Newtown thing was heartbreaking to hear. And, you know, of course, that I would never want to say that those kind of things should be allowed to happen or whatever, because that's the way they like to attack you if you're trying to protect the guns thing. But I was listening, I was taking my 5-year-old daughter to school every morning, and every morning I would tune in to your program on the way there and on the way back. And it was all the weeks leading up and months leading up to Newtown. It was like you had a soldier who was on anonymously who had said that they'd been training him on taking away the weapons. And you were saying right then,
All we need is one thing. Everyone was saying, it's easy and logical if you know what's going on, that all they need is one event that's going to pull on the heartstrings of America and allow them to make everyone want to give up their guns. Now, I'm not saying that I think that Obama directly had the children in Newtown shot. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, however it led to this event, that event is the event in which has caused everyone to start giving up their weapons. Now, I had an advertisement. I have a radio show I do on Sirius XM on Outlaw Country every Saturday.
No, I've heard it, yeah.
Yeah, and so I had an ad for my Christmas show. And it was after all this, and I do my own graphic art and stuff, and I do things that are just crazy and funny. I took Santa Claus and put my head on some kid who's sitting on Santa Claus, and just to art it up, I always put blood splatters and little things everywhere around my name and everything. It wasn't like directly related to Santa Claus and the children. I just had this blood splatter thing as a kind of background coloring of the thing. And just because that's what I do. And I had so many people get so angry about me posting this, and it made me mad because it was after Newtown or whatever. And I said, why do we have to freaking sanitize our culture every time one of these things happen? You know, Rage Against the Machine, their entire catalog was banned from the radio. And Tom Morello is a friend of mine, and people have different opinions of what he says, but I really strongly believe in his outlook on things. And they banned their entire catalog from the radio after 9/11 for several months. And it's like, what are you doing?
Well, same thing with the Dixie Chicks when they criticized the war. And, I mean, for people that are on the left, he's one of the best people out there. He'll actually truly criticize. He's been critical of Obama. But,
yes.
but expanding on that, that's what the Soviets would do, is they're putting the guilt on all shooters, no pun intended, so that we'll do what they say. When the FBI's own numbers show 49% drop in violent crime in the last 20 years because of gun proliferation, the predators are absolutely scared. But then they want to say, oh, a child can't have a bubble gun. A child can't have a water gun. Oh, you're kicked out of school. You talked about playing cowboys and Indians or cops and robbers. This is the Sovietization of our country.
Exactly. And it's like, you know, them going into movies after 9/11 and removing the Twin Towers. Like what happened to Never Forget? They want you to not remember, you know.
It's the memory hole.
Yeah, and it just...
Or taking trailers out from movies that show shoot-'em-ups.
Yeah. Oh, my God. Or not showing movies. Or what was that one movie that, you know, about the phone booth, I think it was called, or something. All that stuff happens. It's like, what are you doing? It's like, that's not the problem. Why are we spending money and time and all these? But everyone has a bleeding heart thing about them, and they like to jump on that bandwagon, whether it's towards the right cause or not the right cause or whatever. But when
they make it easy and kind of a fake sentimentality, just kind of easy. Get on the bandwagon, feel good about yourself.
Yeah.
Come on, turn your guns in while the government's buying billions of rounds of ammo, giant armored vehicles, and I have the Army manuals training to confiscate our guns. It's like they're getting all these guns going, now turn yours in. We'll be real nice once this happens.
Of course.
I mean, it's 2 + 2 = 4. I mean,
of course. They can kiss my ass as far as I'm concerned with all that. It makes me so angry.
I love it. Oh, my goodness. Man, let me tell you. I don't, pimp is an overused word, but that new album, this piece of vinyl, that'll drive Howard Stern crazy. You know, he's these arguments with Papa Booey about piece of vinyl versus a record. But let me tell you, that is an amazing record cover right there. And you designed that, huh?
Well, actually, a guy named Keith Neltner did the artwork on this one, who's an amazing artist.
Hey, is this guy here on the back here in the office?
That's me right there. We did a film that goes along with the movie that we're going to roll out later this year. And in that film, I ended up getting shaved and all this stuff in a morgue, and this all took place in the morgue. It all kind of ties into the film, but...
Oh, wow. Wow, look at that music video right there. Tell us the name of that.
Oh, you got that is The Other Life. That is the first music video from the title track that is actually part of the film. This is when someone watches the film, which is 35 minutes long, this is actually the first 3 minutes of it, but it also has been served as a music video for us.
Wow, we're going to talk about all that when we come back and give you his websites, because there's several of them.
I'm Darren McBreen, and these are some of the new items that are available now at InfoWarsShop.com.
Alert the public to Obama's blatant abuse of power with the new Obama t-shirt. Obama's Joker face on the front and come and take it on the back. It's time to publicly call him out for what he is, a tyrant. Defend the Second Amendment with our top seller Come and Take It t-shirts. And look at that, women's cut tank tops and t-shirts now available. Nice hat. Plus the Don't Tread on Me flag. And now you can become a micro distributor of the InfoWars magazine. Plus, get your own copy delivered right to your door each and every month. And if you're tired like I am of you and your family being exposed to polluted drinking water, get the Pro One high-performance water filter. It gets rid of all pathogenic bacteria, cyst, fluoride, heavy metals, and numerous other contaminants.
So join the revolution at InfoWarsShop.com.
That's a little bit of Shooter Jennings' new The Other Life, and that's also the name of the album, the last album. It's amazing as well, is Black Ribbons. And it's so varied. I mean, some of it's outlaw country sounds, some of it, what would you call the top track on Black Ribbons? I mean, you cover a bunch of different genres. What would you call it?
Man, it's music, I guess. For me, I grew up an MTV kid, you know, so I was absorbed all my dad's stuff, and I love country music, but I really fell in love with country music at a later point. I was a rock and roll kid growing up, so to me, it's not interesting if you don't bring it all in, you know what I mean? And
but you do it all so well.
Thank you, man. Well, genres are built just like they put you in a box in society. Genres are built to put music in boxes.
What would you call Summer of Rage? I don't even know what to call that.
Man, I don't know. It's like you said, it's kind of like soft rock, but it's kind of programmed drums, kind of Pink Floydy. It's kind of, you know, this, that, and Radioheady.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, soft rock's almost a terrible name because you think of that as, I don't even know the word for it.
I love me some Loggins and Messina, dude. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, but I mean, no, you can do it all. I mean, that's the thing is some people can do one thing really well. And I'm not kissing your ass, it's true.
Thank you.
It's just all good. I mean, there's not a bad track on Black Ribbons.
Thank you.
And I got to be honest, things always sneak up on me. This album's been out a few weeks and going up the charts, and they've had it saying, hey, you know, come over and check this out. I've been so busy, I haven't even tuned into it yet, and what I've heard sounds amazing.
Thank you.
But tell us about the new album and the film that's coming out, and then we'll get more into politics in the next segment.
Well, the new album, The Other Life, is kind of like a dark mirror to my last record, Family Man, but it's I'm really proud of the record. And then Blake Judd, who's a very good friend of mine from Lexington, Kentucky, he and I have worked on several videos. We shot a 35-minute long film that we've just finished. We're going to be airing it at our shows. If you get a VIP package to our shows that we're doing, you can see an early screening of it, but we're going to be rolling it out throughout the year in different mediums. But it's a film, and dude, it's actually got, for what it is, it's got deeply rooted ties in like the Book of Enoch and sacred geometry and things about change and rebirth and all that. So, you know, it's pretty wild. I'm into, you know, I get into all that stuff anyway. I'm into fighting the New World Order. I'm also into to reading every kind of religious.
Well, you need to know about that stuff because they're obsessed with it, but use it for bad.
Yeah, man, absolutely. And you know, everything from Dianetics to the Book of Enoch, I've read it all. I get into absorbing what cultures are obsessed with religion and these kind of
every angle.
Yeah, every angle of it. You know, so it all kind of comes out. But I'm real proud of the record. You know, and ShooterJennings.com is the place to kind of stay where you can find out where the film's going to be and all that.
ShooterJennings.com.
Yeah.
You know, everybody's giving their kids names today, which I think is cool, like, you know, Rocker or you know, Shooter or Gunner. But one of my friends, you know, son's is named, you know, Rocker, and he is a really cool kid. He can do backflips and stuff and on the wakeboards. But, I mean, having the cool name Shooter for a long time, that's cool.
As a little kid, it sucked, man, because it's real easy to turn that into something like Pooter or something when you're in school, you know. I hate this name, but, you know, but by about 20, I was like, yeah, it's pretty all right. It's treated me good.
Do the girls like it?
The girls like it now. They do. My son's name is Blackjack, so I'm waiting for him to get old enough to use
Blackjack Jennings.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, man, you know, but it's cool, man. My real name is Waylon, but he nicknamed me Shooter from the day I was born.
Yeah,
so I've always been called that, and cops call me Waylon. That's about it.
When they get the ID card.
Yeah, exactly.
Waylon Jennings.
They're like, really? They like to make an example out of me. That's been fun. They always do, though. They always like
sometimes they don't know who you are, and they think, Waylon Jennings, who do you think you are, boy?
Exactly. Or when they find out that I am, they're like, well, we're going to definitely throw the book at him and make an example out of him that he's not going to get off of it because he's Waylon Jennings' son. You know, anytime I've been in trouble, they've usually tried to make an example out of me. There you go. That's the system for you.
And what's the point of that? I don't get how, like, the corrupt are supposed to always get off in the system, and then good guys, they go after them.
Yeah.
I guess they're good old boys, never doing no harm.
Yeah.
Been in trouble with the law since the day they were born.
There you go. Exactly, man. You know,
that kind of gets cheesied by the Dukes of Hazzard, which is still a funny show, but when you actually listen to that song, that's a really good, short country song.
It is, man. You know, and he wrote it. The funny story about that is that he was supposed to write the song and couldn't write it, and they were on their way to the screening for the networks of the first episode of the film, and he wrote it in the bathroom on the way that day and just coming up with something, you know what I mean? And it's funny, that's like his biggest hit, you know? So as a kid, everybody watched Dukes of Hazzard, so it's easy to kind of be like, yeah, my dad did that song. Everyone knows that show.
But it's actually kind of poetic, even though it's simple.
Yeah,
I'm just a good old boy. My mama loves me. It's like
she don't understand. They keep a show on my hands, not my face on TV.
That's right. But anyways, we're going to get more into your new record when we come back and talk about fearlessness. You were talking about that during the break and where you think society's going. Because Black Ribbons came out 2 years ago?
2 years ago. And I feel like it's more true now than it was then. It's amazing.
It's not just evergreen. It's like a blossoming evergreen.
Yeah, man. It's just everybody is so afraid of everything, and that's the way they.
And the answer is get over the fear.
Yeah. You have to be fearless to be able to walk into the fire. You know what I mean? You have to be able to not be afraid to lose your life or your anything in that.
I had tried everything. I'd cut back the amount of food I was eating. I was lifting weights and jogging, but nothing was working. My body was literally starving for minerals and trace elements as well as key vitamins. And as soon as I had that, I immediately could eat half of what I was eating previously and be satisfied. Now, there are hundreds of great products at InfoWarsTeam.com, but I want to point out the 3 that have helped me lose 37 pounds in just 2 months. Products like Beyond Tangy Tangerine, Pollen Burst, and Rebound. When I started taking the Tangy Tangerine and other products every day, I lost more than 37 pounds in just 2 months. Now that's results. I want to challenge my listeners to go to InfoWarsTeam.com and to order just 3 of their products, and you will see the changes in the way you look, feel, and in your appetite almost immediately. Start your journey to health and wellness today. InfoWarsTeam.com. And you know what I love? He's not being politically correct. The Gunslinger Tour 2013 kicks off right here in Central Texas tonight. And I'm just honored that Shooter's kicking it off in Central Texas.
San Marcos.
Absolutely. And right here on our show. So I'm honored. And the album's out now, climbing up the charts. The Other Life, the last big album. I say you need to get it as well. That's Black Ribbons. And, of course, we have some of that in the film, the FEMA film that we put out, The Rise of FEMA. As you now see, that's happening. And Shooter Jennings is here with us. Go to shooterjennings.com to get the album and to see the trailer for the new movie that they're premiering at their VIP showings before, I guess, or after the concerts. And I know a lot of your shows are sold out because about a year ago you were in town. And it was a couple days before, and I heard about it, and it was sold out. Is tonight already sold out down in San Marcos?
I don't think so, man. It's funny because, like, I don't think most of the shows aren't sold out, which is...
Your awesome one was a year ago or so when you were here.
It may have been. It may have been. I think that was when we were here with Cody Canada and The Departed, maybe. I think that we were doing a little tour with them.
And when you were with Willie Nelson, you play with him, too?
We do sometimes, yeah, man. His son, Lucas, is really... I don't know if you've ever checked him out. He's real good, and his album's called The Promise, The Real, and he's kind of in our mindset,
Yeah, I was talking to some of my friends that went and saw Willie recently, and they said his son was out there like him. And
smoking guitar, man.
Sound just like him. It was amazing, the two together.
Yeah, Lucas and I are doing a record together. We're about halfway done with it. And
oh, wow.
So that's good. That's going to be a cool thing, too. And it's really more like a English rock sound. It's Southern-sounded English rock kind of rock.
Dave Mustaine was here 2 weeks ago.
I know that guy. I mean, I've never met him, but I've, seen his talk. I love how he
says what he wants.
Yeah, he says what he wants.
No, it's just that we ended up hanging out with Willie's son. That was amazing. Willie Nelson, Dave Mustaine, and Megadeth. Now, getting back to what you were saying during the break, I mean, where it's all going, getting out of this fear box.
Yeah.
We were talking about Obama. Get back into that.
Well, yeah, man. I do believe that at this day and age, you have to be fearless. That moves on every level, musically, or what you make. I think what you say, all that kind of stuff. The fearlessness is the thing you have to make a change, because the one thing that the government, the one thing that the record labels, all these radio, they like to keep the fear of not being included is part of a big thing.
They want to control the system, but we're close to breaking that.
Yeah,
it's like in music, alternative media.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, in the boxes they keep us in, you have to think outside of those boxes. And it's like with Obama, man. I mean, it's like I tell everybody, it doesn't matter if it's Obama or Republican candidate. At this point, whoever makes it to the very furthest point to be the two people you're choosing between, both of those people, 2 generations back, go back to the same people controlling the banks, pulling the strings, the people whose investments are being protected by whoever's going to be the president. I had lots of people, and they get mad at me all the time for saying this, call me a conspiracy theory and crazy, but that when Obama happened, they were just like, oh, it's all going to change huge now. He's going to fix it. It's so nice. It's so wonderful. And yes, and it is great for the history of Black America and the oppression and all those things that are happening. But the reality, get rid of all those, glistening facts that make the whole experience so magical. You look at the end of the day, it's the same people that are pulling the strings, and they're never going to have our interest. And somebody like Ron Paul, if he was younger and all this stuff, he would never get to that point. They're never going to let that happen. It's going to have to be somebody who's got an agenda on the inside to break the system, who's not letting the outside people know about it, to get into that.
Wow, that's profound. I've thought that a lot. Either we change things as a cultural revolution of liberty, person by person. That's the surest path. But yes, there are more and more people who are kind of halfway sold out, who more and more are clicking.
Yeah.
It's not even so much that they've infiltrated as a liberty lover. It's that they're starting to get where this road leads, and they look in their children's eyes, just like you say in Summer of Rage.
Thanks, man. It's true. It's true, man. And it's like we're in a place where the only way, and David Icke said this, and it's something that and it was in a very small issue. He was talking about something to do with the garbage cans in London, but
spying on you with chips.
But like saying that the only way to get to have success in fighting this kind of oppression is for everyone to bond together in defiance. Like to say, we're not going to do what you're telling us we
exactly. No, I've said that. Stop complying at every level.
Yeah, stop complying. You have to, like it says in the Summer Rage, speak loud when they try to silence, and withhold when they try to fight us. And that's the thing, Say, we're not going to fight you when you want us to fight you, and we're not going to be quiet when you want us to be quiet.
I forget the Berkeley speech during the Civil Rights Movement, but the man says you got to put yourself against the machine and just say, look, I'm not going to stop until you stop. And that's it. Just they put out this image that we've all got to be heroes by ourselves and fix it all overnight and slay the dragon like King George. Instead, it's lots of little battles. We've got to just put our weight against the machine. And folks, if you can't put a lot of weight, that's fine. Put a little weight. Because I'm going to tell you, once you start putting a little weight, it feels so good to resist. Just you're going to put all your weight.
Yeah, I know. And that's why the small community mom and pop stores right now in this economic decline, it's so important to strengthen the small community because those corporations are starting to fail. They don't get the success they want. This goes.
I'll go 10 miles out of my way to go to a mom and pop, even if the food isn't as good.
I agree because it's like if you can strengthen that small community, that's how communities bond together. That's how revolutions happen. And I really believe that. And same goes for country radio. If you want to use it as a metaphor for country radio and the way it works, you have all this pop glistening.
They tried to block your dad. Yeah. I mean, it keeps going back to that. It didn't work.
The only way it
backfired.
The reason why it backfired is because they amassed a real community of fans, just like a revolution, who they couldn't ignore anymore. It's like all of a sudden they're selling as many tickets and his records as the pop acts. Without the help of the machine, you're able to take over the machine, and they did. And that's
why outlaw country is so important. Anything, when the government's a bunch of crooks, the patriots are going to be the outlaws.
Exactly. And it's just like
the founding fathers were outlaws. That's what they called them.
And it's like every Western movie you ever watched. There's the corrupt sheriff that oppresses the entire town, and the outlaws come into town, defeat the corrupt sheriff, and free the people. And that happens in every one of them. And it's kind of it's the exact same thing.
Well, because that really happened thousands of times in real history cases.
Yeah, exactly. In the Wild West and everything. And it happened, with the American Revolution. It happened with everything. So.
Well, and so many times you'd have a corrupt railroad boss, or I mean, you see those Clint Eastwood movies. Those are based on a lot of real cases that we've covered on air. With Pinkerton Security would come in to muscle people, and finally they'd kill some little girl or little boy, and one guy would stand up. And then usually he might get killed, but then everybody stood up.
Yeah.
And see, that's what the system knows. They know that if they kill myself, Ron Paul, or somebody like that, and make it obvious, that it doesn't actually scare people when they see the Patriot get destroyed. It's like Obi-Wan Kenobi by Darth Vader. He lets him do it.
Yeah.
And he looks over and, okay, I'm really going to beat you. Watch this.
Yeah, and then the Jedis rise up, and that's the truth, man. And that's why you have to be fearless, and you have to, just like you do every day, no matter what people think about you, you're going to say what you think. And there's nobody who's going to tell you off camera what to say or sway you in a direction.
Have you had any trendies tell you not to call it the Gunslinger Tour?
What's funny is that hasn't happened because there's been more controversy over a couple bloggers and people thinking I was putting death threats out on them with the song Gunslinger before it. But I'm sure it'll hit us. But the lyrics of that song are about being misunderstood. It says, don't call me an outlaw. I'm a gunslinger. It's like it's a different. So I'm not here to make a ruckus. I'm here to actually get a job done. You know what I mean? And that's kind of what I think.
I'm standing up. I'm real. I'm not a slave.
Yeah.
I'm a gunslinger.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
Well, expanding on that, That's a thing now in the culture, in this weird nanny state. People use it to peck at somebody.
Yeah.
And I know you've been very successful. Have you ever noticed that people manufacture now these cosmologies to then say someone is bad so they can produce a drama?
Oh, well, of course. I mean, that happens all the time. You look at the way that they, you know, I never supported George Bush. I don't support Obama. But you look at the way that when George Bush was on his way out and the economy went down and the media was able to just be like, let's put all of the focus on how bad of a president George Bush was so that the new guy coming in is going to seem like such an amazing thing.
You're a theater guy. You see that.
Yeah.
They were whetting everyone's appetites.
Yeah.
The Bush people run the Obama people, so they destroy him to make the savior look good so they would sell the whole agenda. I mean, it's all scripted.
Yeah, it's so beyond scripted, and it makes me laugh. It's like that movie Wag the Dog we were talking about the other day, and Ryan, our tour manager, goes, "You actually think they do that?" And I'm like, "They do it.
They did it a year later after it came out in Kosovo, the very same thing."
Yeah.
Well, it's the same thing. The little girl. Oh, we've got to invent
the song Willie Nelson sings about the brown shoe. Oh, we got to come up with a song about a shoe that's going to make everybody's heartstrings about the fallen soldier, you know. And it's like, God bless the soldiers of America. Like I'm beyond behind.
Well, exactly. But while they're taking their guns and putting them in psychiatric facilities for no reason, they then use them to wrap their agenda while their internal documents say they hate the veterans.
Exactly, man. Of course, man. And then
finish your point about the veterans. I interrupted.
Well, no, I'm just saying that I think that, you know, the veterans are the thing in this country that are on the front line, and they're going to do the right thing always. But I just feel bad for the fact that at the top of the chain, there are people that are not looking out for them.
Well, see, that's why the globalists love and hate the troops and want to go to all robots and drones in their own words, so they'll follow orders unquestioningly and engage in war crimes.
Yeah.
They've got to try to find the psychos and promote them into Black Ops and CIA, but there aren't actually that many of them, because people that really have courage most of the time do it because of a guardian instinct, and once they see the lie, they revolt. That's why every authoritarian tyranny, once it fully takes over, wipes out the good police and military.
Yeah.
That's why the police and military who don't know history need to understand, if they fully take over, which they're really trying to do now, you're the first people they're coming after.
Yeah, it's just I wish that more you know, police and these things actually had full disclosure as to what was really going on, because a lot of the time it's just guys operating in the dark.
They're compartmentalized.
Guys, yeah. And it's like, you don't know how many soldiers come up to me at shows and tell me that my music and Hank III's music and other people have really gotten them through hard times overseas. And that's beyond something I can even comprehend, because here I am, you know, I talk a lot, but I'm in the studio working in the safety of my own quarters and get to go home and be with my children and all this stuff. And they're over there fighting the front line for us and for our freedom. And so it's like, it breaks my heart to see so much corruption going on behind the, you know, closed doors. And
well, exactly. You can't take away the fact that they're in a horrible situation, and most of them signed up believing it was good.
Yeah.
Even if they were conned and it's a lie, it doesn't make them bad. Who it makes bad is now it's been, not declassified. WikiLeaks, they confirm it's real.
Of course.
That they have torture camps everywhere, but they use special contractors. The troops don't know. They deliver the families in trucks there with bags over their heads. And I've talked to the troops. That's why they go back and commit suicide. When they see some pot-bellied pedophile at the Army camp taking a little girl in, the guy doesn't know what to do and goes home and blows his head off. No, don't blow your head off. Go speak out against what they're doing in the black sites.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
It's terrible. I mean, it's terrible conditions in a lot of cases. And then the worst thing that I see and I've heard about is just how they treat the veterans after they come back. It's just like after Vietnam, they come back and they're all, you know, they're strung out on drugs and there's these things, and then they don't have a home. And you got these terrible situations for veterans. And it's like now, you know, they've been in Afghanistan. I mean, there's the abundance of heroin, the abundance of all these kind of things going on over there. And it just, the things they see, the things they have to do. I just hope that they really, in the future, we have better treatment for veterans.
Well, I mean, the people back in the cowardly empire,
yeah, you know,
out here, they're scared of the troops when they come home because they're scared of men.
Yeah,
they're scared of people they shouldn't be scared of, and then they're not scared of the government, who they should be concerned about. Yeah,
I agree. But they don't know. A lot of people don't know what's going on.
You know, this interview, we got about 15 minutes left here with you, Shooter, and we're going to go do an interview for the Nightly News, then I'll dole that out in there sometime next week. ShooterJennings.com. After you leave here, what is it that you want to talk about that you forgot to talk about? But let's get in the time machine and come back to right now.
Man, that's hard to even say. My mind gets going so fast.
Same here, yeah.
But it's, you know, I'm just happy to be here and with you and talk about these kind of things, because it does weigh on me, man. It's like I look at my kids growing up in this world, and I look at what things are going to be, and it scares me it scares me that anybody just doesn't listen and doesn't open their mind to these things, you know. And it's musically, people don't open their mind to music. People don't know. There's a whole wave of underground country artists that don't get any exposure because radio's gatekeepers keep them out.
Oh, they put horrible fluff I can't listen to.
Oh, it's terrible.
Even the so-called old-fashioned country stations air all this new stuff.
Yeah, and then they have whatever you call, you know, just like in government, they have patsies that they set up. They have artists they set up as their kind of outlaw country artists that they're trying to appease that appetite for, but yet are still just part of the organization, just puppets, you know. And it's just like everything operates on such a level that it could be a same metaphor for the government, you know. But ultimately, just talking about all this stuff and just being able to have the freedom of speech to do it is what I enjoy doing, being on here. So
what do you think's going to happen as the economy implodes, as they rob the bank accounts in Europe, Cyprus and other places, if they really try to keep pushing and name libertarians, constitutionalists, conspiracy theorists, and say we're bad? I mean, that's a throwaway line. I don't want to hear culturally what you're saying that's totally pertinent. You're just a theorist because you don't trust known liars. I mean, I'm worried about civil war in this country.
I am too, because you look at with the treaty or with the deal that they're signing down here against Obamacare, a lot of the people turning against that. I don't like to see everybody so disjointed. I'd rather see two sides, to be honest with you, than I would like to see all these different things. But I think that what happens is the right side tends to get too caught up in some of the religious aspects and the abortion aspects and all those things, the gay aspect, the gay marriage and all that. They really, even the weed thing, like what I really would prefer to happen, and I believe that all of that stuff, I am a person who does believe that each individual has a choice to do whatever they want to do, but I also think that a lot of those things are what's keeping progression on both the left and the right.
Sure, the system uses it as a diversion football issue, not meaning people don't have points on the issues on both sides. The issue is it's used to distract from all the other. Why are we giving $85 billion a month to foreign banks, and then no one even knows that?
I know. And yeah, and I agree. It's a distraction, so I hate to see all of that happen. I just, you know, I would love to see someone stand up as a public figure that would actually have the interests of people in mind, that could really relate to the youth as well as the older generation. You know, I think we're going to need something like that. I think it'll happen. I honestly am a big supporter of even this Anonymous. Did you follow Anonymous in the college rape trial thing that was happening with them? There was like the football team.
Yes.
Raped all the, and Anonymous went through and revealed all this stuff and exposed the corrupt sheriff and how the sheriff and the school were talking.
Well, look at WikiLeaks. I've thought that's too good to be true, but now it's releasing that Kissinger's a known criminal, that they're torturing kids.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think they're releasing that on purpose. No wonder they've been torturing Manning.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe
that's terrible. By the way, the Manning situation, the hacker just now that died and that committed suicide in New York over all the pressure that was down on him when he'd done a lot of good things. Yeah, I mean, sure, there's things that were illegal.
Well, they're now going after whistleblowers. Stay there. Shooter Jennings is our guest.
Jakari Jackson here, and I want to talk to you for a second about water. You know about ProPure, our flagship water purification system, but check out some of our portable water filter products at InfoWarsStore.com. The clearly filtered water pitcher. Also, for those of you on the go, we have the Athlete Edition filtered water bottle and the RAD Eliminator Pro filtered sports bottle that removes radiation. And keep in mind, we have replacement filters for all of these products. The ever-popular grab-and-go bag favorite, the Life Straw, the Crystal Quest shower filter system, and the Aquapod kit, great for mass storage of water. And while you're at the InfoWars shop, pick up a copy of our latest book, 31 Days to Survival. You can find all this and more at the InfoWarsStore.com, and don't forget, it's your support that funds our operation. Sign up for our free newsletter at InfoWars.com/newsletter.
Wow, the new album is out, The Other Life. Shooter Jennings, certainly an iconoclast, smart guy, very interesting. And check this out. Check out, if you're a TV viewer, they've got the new record out on vinyl, and it is purple. I mean, the TV camera cannot pick up how rich that is. Man, that is cool.
Yeah, man. It's always the presentation is just as important to me as the, you know, when I was a kid, I used to listen to records. This is another way they've ruined everything because everyone downloads records. But as a kid, I used to buy CDs and sit in my room and listen to it and just look at all the art and look at all the imagery and kind of tie it all together, you know, and that seems like a very lost art.
I like the black shield. The heraldry in it, it's very strong. striking.
Yeah, it was kind of like a family crest design was the idea behind it. And
Yeah, that's what I am.
You know, the last record we did a variation of it. For this record, we have that being the kind of central logo for the record, and I think it kind of a lot of things tie in.
That's a powerful. See, you hadn't even told me it was a crest, but that's what I got from it.
Yeah, like Keith Neltner, that artist, man, he's got great vision, and working with a guy like that is really a pleasure.
What is the idea here? What's the symbology?
You know, a lot of the record has been my journey in kind of really understanding being myself with fearlessness, you know, dealing with fearlessness. I mean, dealing with what I feel I'm expected to give to the Waylon fans, what I feel like I'm expected to give to my fans, what I feel like I'm all that. And I think a lot of the record in this film we made, one part of it is my hair gets cut and I get shaved, and it's like kind of like what's underneath all that a little bit is the real me, you know, as opposed to what people think that I'm supposed to be or the perception of me. And I think it's coming to terms with the fact that not everybody's going to like me, but I got to put forth what is me, you know, by speaking my mind and doing what I want to do, regardless of what anybody else is going to think. Even the Waylon fans, even as much as I love my dad and he was a great dad and I'm proud of it, I have to step out of that and say, you know, the very first line of the album that happens, it says, "Do you know who you are?" And that actually was, as small of a piece as that is, was written during Black Ribbons, and it's really about, and this is what I encourage with any artist that asks me what they should do as an artist and all that, is be yourself, you know.
No, expanding on that, you are absolutely right. And if you're not real and true to yourself, and if you don't even try to discover who you really are, you will just take on the programming. Exactly. So really you're saying be conscious, really live, be a human, don't be a dumbed-down animal. I mean, I
good or bad, it doesn't matter. You can't always make the right decision in life, but you have to own every decision you make, and you can't. I've learned this the hard way. I've learned it by being dishonest with people. I've learned it by being untrue to myself, making decisions that weren't true to myself, and then paying for that later. And people know it when you're not putting something real out there. And I think if you put something real out there and it strikes a chord with someone, that's when it matters.
Well, more and more, I've known this for decades, but now it consumes my life. And I didn't even know about the new record. You know, I mean, I knew you were coming, and I'm just focusing on it now because everybody gets caught up and busy.
Sure.
But everything in my life is accelerating, and I think it's happening to other people as well, and a quickening towards, I only want to be around people that are real, even if I don't agree with them or completely like some of what they do. I'm sick of fakeness and lies and BS, man.
I agree. And it's like, I don't have a problem, you know, these pop country artists, I don't have a problem with their personal journey. Don't say there's anything wrong with it. But the thing I have a problem with is insincerity. And the music that's put out there to the masses is insincere. The news that is put out there to the masses is controlled and insincere. Most of what you receive on your daily programming, from advertisement to subway stations versus...
It's cold-blooded manipulation.
It is. You're right. You know,
we have the best radio crew / TV we've ever had. Best crew on TV end. I just am so thankful for my crew and all you, the supporters and listeners and the good Lord above. We were just talking about synchronicity, serendipity during the break, and how, not attacking atheists, but they say, we're just on a rock, it's all boring, we don't have free will, we're on a rock in deep space, what is this? We were talking about, I have dreams that come true, you have dreams that come true. I mean, let's talk about that. What is this? There's definitely major stuff going on we don't see.
Oh, big time. I mean, I've done all kinds of research into religion, the occult, everything like that, and I do believe that there are elements at play. I do believe that there's God. I do believe that there's or at least a force that is beyond our comprehension, in which everything has. I do believe in the science aspect of it, and I also believe in spiritual, like the importance of being spiritual. Whether or not there's a God, whether or not there's like a dude in the clouds or whatever, I think it's important for you to figure out a balance in understanding.
Sure. Well, they set science up against religion, and the foolish people then argue it back and forth as a football issue.
Yeah.
But I mean, they're coming out with huge math equations and spectrometers and things, and they're finding there's some other force containing and focusing things.
Yeah, and whether that be like the scientific theory that there's like a web and a net that everyone is connected in some kind of visible or non-visible form, dark matter, those ideas.
Yeah, that's it.
Something as simple as just believing in doing good. Do you know what I mean? It's like it all kind of ties into a very, very easy concept, which is living and acting truthfully and accordingly.
Just a good old boy, never doing no harm.
No harm, yeah.
Well, I mean, absolutely. It comes down to, I have goodwill. People say, well, what do you stand for? Goodwill.
Yeah.
Now, if somebody crosses me, screws me around, I can be just as vicious as the most evil guy out there, but I won't even do it in an evil way. I'm saying it's that I don't like doing people wrong. I just don't get people that think they're getting ahead doing that.
Yeah, and people that are able to do that are people that have come from a situation. Those are the kind of people you have to be really scared of, you know? People who can sit there and lie to you and know that they're doing harm to you. They're all around, you know what I mean? And I'm just not that way. I'm just not of that nature. You know, I'm sure I've made mistakes, and sure I've told lies to people because I didn't want to upset them. And
sure, when you're younger, you go. The point is, as you develop, I mean, obviously, you choose a side.
Yeah, you do, and unfortunately, there are a lot of people out there who have chosen the wrong side of that. You know, and that's why that's what everyone is fighting against, and it's unbelievable what people have done. There are people that have done things to people that people would die just even hearing what they've done. You know, the kind of audacities and war crimes and things in government, even people's lives and their livelihood being taken away over bets. I mean, even if you look at the Mitt Romney KB Toys thing, the thing with that company, how they shut down KB Toys as like a thing. It was like a mom and pop organization, you know, all that stuff. I feel, again, we get back to that, but the small community. It's funny, I was saying this between one of the breaks. When I watch 90s television, I grew up in the 90s and 80s, and really, like, I watched shows like Beavis and Butthead and Seinfeld and all that. I mourn for the innocence that we had as a culture back then, because things were so much better, and now there's so much more heaviness after 9/11 and terrorism and the wars that we have. And I'm sure that generation felt the same way about the 70s. 70s felt the same way.
But this is the end of the innocence.
Really? Yeah.
And now people are getting so decadent. They go, let's be evil because it's cool. And it's like, hey, you know, evil isn't the image of the devil cheerleader, man. Evil is like burnout cities and poverty.
Yeah, man. I watched that movie God Bless America the other day. Have you seen that thing?
No.
Oh, it's all over the place. But there's a speech in that movie. It's so important. He's like, we're living in a culture where it's celebrated. You know, the nastiest, worst, most violent thing is celebrated as normal in culture with YouTube. Kids are on YouTube doing videos. You know, this is the culture we're in that celebrates the bad to the point where...
Oh, yeah, it's cool to be mean to animals. It's cool to say kill all the Arabs. All the shows are about psychos that torture people.
Anything that's shocking is what's funny now. It's like the more shocking it is, the funnier.
And then when it really happens to you, nobody cares because it's funny.
Yeah, it's desensitized to the point of, you know, so
it's done by design. The album available for download on iTunes right now, The Other Life, Shooter Jennings. Visit Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. When you're on the site, you can also tune in 24 hours a day to my daily radio broadcast. There's also a free iPhone app to listen to the syndicated radio show when and where you want.